And now to get into the incident mapping suite and what is it. So as many of, I'm sure most of you know, Leica here in NAFTA, they have a dedicated segment-specific sales team. They call themselves the Public Safety Group. And Microsurvey has also had a dedicated sales team basically inside. There's an inside sales rep here, and we sell through dealers in NAFTA, and we've been doing that for 15 years, so we've had forensic-specific products as well. So what we decided to do is we decided to take sort of the knowledge and the competencies of both companies, Leica Geosystems and Microsurvey, and decided to put together a suite or a group of products. And underneath that group of products, or the suite, we have IMS Map360, so that's the product we'll be focusing on. But also the Cyclone product and the publisher with the TrueView, those two products have also been well received, and they're loved by users in the public safety segment. And then Evans Recorder, which is our mobile data collection package that Microsurvey also develops. And these four products sort of make up we call it the incident mapping suite. And going forward, you're going to see here at Microsurvey, we have a dedicated development team now just focus on our IMS Map360 and some more forensic-specific products to come in the future. So you can be assured that this is just the beginning. You're going to see some tighter integration, more features, and a great emphasis put on creating products that meet that segment. So we're going to focus on today on IMS Map360. So if someone was to stop you on the street and ask you what is IMS Map360, that sentence there would be your elevator speech. So IMS Map360 is a desktop software solution that lets users import, process, analyze, visualize, and create court-ready deliverables. So that's what IMS Map360 is, and let's get into more specifically the features of the product. So the major benefits for the product is the ability to import data from multiple sources, and the good thing is it doesn't have to necessarily be data coming from Leica sensors. You know, we have very good support for competitive platforms. So, you know, if someone's using a Faro scanner, or maybe a Regal system, or maybe they're using a Sakia robot, the data that they're capturing, there's numerous import methods to take that data into IMS Map360 and do something with that data. So that is one of the key features of the product, is giving the user the ability to import data from multiple sources. There is sort of two modes you can work in. We call it sketch mode and advanced mode, and I'll talk about that a little bit later. But it gives users the choice to choose how they want to work with the program, and that alone has been one of our #1 new features in the software that a lot of even our existing MapScenes users really like. You'll also see that there are built-in templates that make it really easy to create a diagram. The point cloud engine we use, it's the same. It's essentially Cyclone that powers our point cloud support in IMS Map360. So because of that, if a user registers any point clouds with Cyclone, there is no conversions needed. They can open up those point clouds directly inside of IMS Map360, and it works really well. The HexIP or Hexagon Imagery program, that doesn't really apply to Asia Pacific yet, but it will in the future. But that is just a high-resolution orthorectified aerial imagery system that Hexagon has acquired and is promoting, and so that is also supported inside of IMS Map360. And then there are valuable scene reconstruction tools built in, and the software is also modular, so it can adapt to the organization's needs. So now just looking into some of the key features with a little bit more detail, and then we'll do a demo. So I had mentioned that there is numerous ways to get data into the product, and there is a nice and easy to use ribbon interface. And for example, if you click on the import or export tab, you can see all of the different ways that you can import data into the product. So if a user just wants to manually enter coordinates, they can, or if they want to do a baseline offset or triangulation, they can also do that. Import ASCII files, import data from Evans Recorder, or import data from Viva, SmartWorks, Captivate. That can also be imported directly into the product. And then here you can import scan data or attach imagery. And so with all of those different methods, you can pretty well import anything you need to into IMS Map. So I had mentioned you can import Evans Recorder or Leica Captivate projects. What's nice about it is we have a feature called Automap. And if the user has collected points and they've created line work inside of Captivate or Evans Recorder, when they import that data, IMS Map360 will automatically layer and put the entities at a 2D elevation or 3D automatically upon import. And with that, it can save the user a lot of time, specifically with not having to connect the dots manually. And then this is just the same thing from our Evans Recorder. Now, even though we have built a simplified interface for the product, the underlying program is a engineering-grade CAD engine. And so with that comes, it's precise, it's accurate. The data that gets created is a DWG or a drawing file. And a lot of police departments or agencies like that because the drawing file that gets created is not proprietary. And if they need to share that drawing with another software program or maybe another agency, usually a DWG or a DXF format is supported. Whereas some of our competitors, sometimes they can export a DXF, but sometimes when you do that, you lose sort of some of the fidelity, or the not all objects will transfer over in a DXF. So because we are a CAD engine, that's what is the underlying core of the product, you can ensure good compatibility there. And it's got the power to work with large data sets. So I talked about a simple and advanced mode. I will show that in the demo because it's easier to demonstrate it than try to explain it. And also, so I'd mentioned built-in are Builtin Templates, and so it makes it really easy to create a diagram, and I'll demonstrate that to everyone, and you'll see just how easy it is. The templates that we just ship a portrait and a landscape version, but for the agency, we can help them create their own templates, so it's set up to the paper size that they use, and we can put their logo and agency emblem on the certificates for them quite easily. Already talked about this imagery. So the imagery, you can use hexagon imagery program data or other imagery sources and have that imagery as a backdrop, and that does provide a lot of context to a scene, and a lot of our customers or users like that ability to have that image behind or underneath the data that they've captured. And you can see just in this sketch here on the right, just by having that image in there, it really finishes off that sketch. Now surveyors, as you all know, have been using aerial imagery as a backdrop on CAD drawings for a long, long time, but a lot of police agencies haven't, and that's just because a lot of the software they might be using just don't have those that capability. So that is built into the product, and it's really easy to use. There is a witness viewpoint tool where you can define where a witness said they were standing, define the location that they were looking, enter in the witness's height, and the program will automatically turn, let's say the scene into a perspective from that witness's viewpoint. So I mentioned we use Cyclone as the engine inside the power of the point cloud support in IMS Map360. And with that comes a lot of advanced tools that make it easier for the user to work with point cloud data. So not only do we support opening IMP or the Cyclone broad, like the point cloud databases directly, but we also support Jetstream, and I'll demonstrate that to everyone. I mentioned this already, but they're built into the program are reconstruction tools that help users do a lot of the reconstruction calculations that they are sometimes required to make. Also built in is a audit log. So any coordinate points that you put into a database, our system is constantly tracking those coordinates. So if you accidentally make a change or you move a point, the system is going to protect that point and not let you delete it without your confirmation that you want that to happen. And the audit log essentially keeps track of the points so that at any time you can view the history of a point and see and confirm that it's in its original location. So I already mentioned this. Also built into the product, reship over 7,000 crash and crime scene symbols. So that alone, for the most part, most users can find a symbol that they need to use in their diagram. But if they don't, we also support importing symbols from the Google 3D warehouse. And if you're not familiar with this, you may have heard of a product called Google SketchUp, and it's a design program that lets users create 3D models. And with that, there is this 3D warehouse where users can go and upload symbols for free, and anyone can go and download them and use them. And so we can import those symbols, and I'll show you how this works. There's literally millions of symbols available. So it's very rare that a user won't be able to find a symbol that they need by just doing a search in the 3D warehouse. Also for bullet path reconstruction, we have some tools that if you've scanned a rod, you can window in the rod, and our system will compute a best fit algorithm and compute a best fit trajectory through the points that you've windowed. Or if you're using a total station or another method where you've captured the start and end points for a rod, you can still put a cone on that. So that's also built into the product, and I will do a demonstration on how this works. And then these are just some examples. So that's just a point cloud inside the drawing window. That's a finished sketch from this point cloud here in a landscape view. This is a compilation of its P40 scan data, MS60 line work captured with Captivate, and also point cloud data from the MS60. And it also includes aerial imagery from the iBotics aerial drone, all combined into one point cloud database. So that the combining of all the point cloud data was done with Cyclone, and then you can just open it up inside of IMS Map360 and create your sketches from that. So this is just an example. I'll just back up here where this data was also georeferenced, and so with that you can load the imagery behind all your data, and you can see how it gives a lot more context. And sometimes, depending on the the accuracy needs of the agency, you can zoom in on this and you can trace. Maybe you want to sketch the remaining part of this road onto your sketch or your map. You could do that just by tracing on top of the aerial image here